What if I told you that Mercedes' dominance in 2026 isn't as solid as it seems? And that Ferrari is about to hit exactly where it hurts? Because while everyone looks at the victories, there is an invisible detail that changes everything. A minimal difference in the power unit that is marking the championship. And that Ferrari has already decided to attack in Miami. The question is, are we about to see the beginning of Mercedes' downfall? The start of the 2026 season has built a very clear illusion within the paddock. Mercedes is out of reach. 3 races, 3 victories, a solid lead in the championship, and above all, a feeling of absolute control reminiscent of his best years. But that narrative, although true in the results, hides a truth much more fragile than it seems. Because Mercedes' dominance is not perfect. It is extremely dependent on a specific factor that is currently being directly attacked by Ferrari. Mercedes has achieved something that no other team has managed to interpret at the same level: the new hybrid regulations. Its power unit not only delivers more power, but better manages energy throughout the lap, avoiding critical losses on the straight and maintaining consistency in each phase of the circuit. That efficiency is the basis of everything. It's not just speed, it's control. And that's why, even in curves where the engine normally shouldn't make such a difference, the car is still superior. That integration between engine and chassis has been the key to its dominance. But this is where the real problem begins. Because when a domain depends on such precise optimization, any rival that manages to understand that advantage has the opportunity to destroy it. And Ferrari has already done it. They have identified exactly where they are losing, between 20 and 25 horsepower compared to Mercedes. A figure that, in another context, might seem manageable, but in this new hybrid era is critical. It's not just about power, but how that power translates into usable energy during the lap. During the first races, Ferrari has suffered especially in this aspect. The clipping phenomenon has been its greatest enemy. While Mercedes maintains a constant flow of energy, Ferrari loses electrical deployment before the end of the straights, leaving itself exposed not only in top speed, but in defense and attack. It is a disadvantage that conditions the entire race strategy, from how they overtake to how they protect position. And that, in such a tight championship, is unsustainable. For this reason, the Miami GP is not just another race. It is the turning point that Ferrari has marked in its calendar. They have used the time between Japan and Miami to prepare a specific improvement package, focused on solving exactly that problem. They have not gone blindly, they have not improvised. They have tested, validated, and fine-tuned each change, aware that this moment can define the course of the entire season. And this is where the pressure changes sides. Because for the first time, Mercedes is not the one who evolves to increase its advantage. It is the one who must react to not lose it. Ferrari is not trying to catch up little by little. He is preparing a direct leap towards the core of his superiority. What is at stake in Miami is not just a victory. It is control of the championship. And the most dangerous thing for Mercedes is that, this time, Ferrari's attack does not come from outside. It comes exactly from within its greatest strength. This is where everything changes. Because what Ferrari is preparing for Miami is not a simple improvement, it is a direct attempt to break the technical balance that Mercedes has built since the beginning of the season. Ferrari has understood something that many teams have not yet been able to fully assimilate. In this new era of Formula One, pure power is no longer enough. What really makes the difference is how that energy is managed throughout the entire lap. And that is exactly where they have focused their development. For weeks, in silence, they have been working on a deep update to the power unit software, a change that is not seen, but that can completely transform the behavior of the car on the track. This new approach does not simply seek to increase horsepower, but to optimize each phase of energy deployment. Ferrari wants to eliminate the clipping that has penalized them so much, ensure that electrical energy is available for longer on the straight, and, above all, improve braking recovery to close that energy cycle that Mercedes masters with such precision. It is a surgical adjustment, designed specifically to attack the weakness that has limited you since the beginning of the year. The most interesting thing is that this type of improvement has a domino effect. If Ferrari manages to stabilize its power delivery, it will not only gain top speed, but will also be able to defend better on the straights, attack with more consistency, and manage its tires better by not depending on performance peaks. That is, it is not just an improvement in the engine, it is an improvement that impacts the entire racing dynamics. But there is an even more critical detail. Ferrari does not arrive in Miami with doubts. They have validated these changes on the track, collected real data, and fine-tuned each parameter before introducing the package on a key weekend. This greatly reduces the risk of failure, something that has cost them dearly in other seasons. This time, the approach is completely different: precision, preparation, and execution. And while Ferrari takes this step forward, Mercedes enters an uncomfortable zone. Because your advantage is no longer invisible, it is now fully identified. And when a rival understands exactly why you are superior, it is no longer a matter of time before he finds a way to neutralize you. This is where the real tension begins. Because if Ferrari gets it right, the impact will be immediate. We're not talking about cutting a tenth. We're talking about changing the way both cars compete against each other. Mercedes could go from controlling the races to having to constantly defend itself. Miami will not be just another race. It will be the first time this season where we will see if Mercedes' dominance was truly solid, or if it was simply waiting for someone to find the right crack. And this is where everything is defined. Because Miami is not only going to show us who is faster, but who understands this new era of Formula One best. If Ferrari gets this update right, the impact will not be progressive. It will be immediate. Suddenly, that 20 to 25 horsepower difference can disappear, clipping will no longer be a problem, and the SF26 will go from being on the defensive to being able to fight head-to-head on every straight line, every braking, and every corner exit. And in this scenario, Mercedes enters its greatest danger: losing control of the race pace. Because until now, Mercedes has competed from comfort. They have managed races, imposed strategies, and forced the rest to react. But if Ferrari manages to match energy efficiency, that dynamic is completely broken. It will no longer be Mercedes that sets the pace. It will be two teams pushing each other to the limit, lap after lap. That changes absolutely everything. The pressure on the drivers changes, the strategic decisions change, and, above all, the margin of error changes. Because when two cars are evenly matched, any small mistake, a bad qualifying, a slow stop, an error in energy management can decide a race. And there is something even more important: the psychological effect. Mercedes has built its dominance on certainty, about knowing they have the best package. But the moment that certainty disappears, doubts begin. And in Formula One, when doubts appear, errors begin. Ferrari, on the other hand, arrives with a completely opposite mentality. They have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Miami may be the exact point where the championship changes direction. Because if Ferrari shows that it can equal or even surpass Mercedes in the field where they were untouchable, then we will no longer be talking about a pursuer. We will be talking about a new leader in construction. And the real question that remains in the air is this: are we about to see the start of a new championship war? Or simply the end of Mercedes' dominance before it really began? The reason for all this is much deeper than it seems at first glance. Because we are not just talking about a technical improvement by Ferrari, but about a direct change in the balance of power within current Formula One. Mercedes has built its dominance on an extremely specific foundation: the energy efficiency of its power unit. It's not simply that they have more power, it's that they have achieved something that the rest have not: converting that power into constant performance throughout the lap, without critical losses, without falls on the straight, and with perfect integration with the chassis. That is the real secret behind his victories. But precisely for that reason, that strength is also its greatest weakness. When a team relies so much on a particular area to maintain its advantage, it becomes vulnerable the moment another team understands it. And that is exactly what Ferrari has done. They have identified that the problem was not aerodynamic, nor drivers, nor even general concept. It was a problem of energy management, of how their power unit used and distributed energy throughout the lap. Clipping, the lack of electrical deployment on long straights, the inability to maintain constant power, all of these were not isolated symptoms, they were part of the same structural problem. And Ferrari has decided to attack it from the roots, with an update focused specifically on software and energy management. This is where the real reason for the danger for Mercedes is. Because if Ferrari corrects that exact point, it not only gets closer, it eliminates Mercedes' main advantage. And when that difference disappears, everything else becomes much more equal than it seems. Aerodynamics, strategy, the talent of the drivers, everything comes into play in much more balanced conditions. In other words, Mercedes isn't in trouble because it's getting worse. It's in trouble because Ferrari is figuring out how to beat them. And in modern Formula One, when a rival cracks your key advantage, the change in hierarchy is not a matter of if it will happen, but when. That's why Miami is so important. Because it's not just a race. It's the moment when we will see if that Ferrari understanding translates into real performance on the track. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this.